For this video, we are going to talk about indexing and slicing. When we talk about slicing, we extract a portion of a certain sequence by specifying a lower and upper bound. And in NumPy, we can do this using this statement. So the variable name or the variable can refer to a 1D array or a 2D array. And then we specify its lower bound, the upper bound, as well as step na value, which are being separated by colon. So mathematically, it will be evaluated as this. So the lower bound is included, but the upper bound is excluded. Okay? And while the step value will specify the stride between elements. So we will show that in the subsequent example. Suppose we have a one-dimensional array B with elements 7, -1, 2, and 4. So typically in Python, this will be indexed starting from 0. So the first element will be indexed with 0 and so on. And you can also index it starting from the last na position, so or last na element in the array, so that will be indexed as -1 and so on. Okay, so suppose we want to get only -1 and 2. So how can put that into code? So we can specify the lower bound as well as the upper bound. So the lower bound will start from 1 and the upper bound will be 3. Okay, so note that mathematically this is not included. Okay, so I mean the upper bound is not included. So the slice na sequence will end -1 the upper bound. Okay, and then we can also access elements using this one. Let's say we want to access 7, -1, and 2. So what we can use is 0 to 3, right? So 0 to 3. But we can also use the other way of indexing the element of the array. So 0 to -1. So -1 is refers to this memory na location. Okay, so meaning this will not include this element. So it will only slice this element 7, -1, and 2. And what about this? We are going to extract starting from -3, which refers to -1 until 3. So since this is not included, so the values that will be sliced will only be -1 and 2, right? So let's run. Just running the program. Okay, now what if we are omitting the boundaries? Or for instance, itong notation ito, you remove the 3. You remove this one and you leave it blank. Okay, so that's an example of omitting the boundary. So when we omit the boundaries, we assume to be the beginning or end of the list. So, okay, suppose we have this statement, so B of, and then just 3. So we omit the lower bound. We omit the lower bound. So meaning it assumes that it starts from the start of the list talaga until the upper bound, which is 3. So since the 3 is not included, so it only slices the first na 3 elements of B. Okay, what about this one? Starting from this time naman, we are omitting the upper bound and just including the lower bound. Okay, so starts from -3. So meaning it starts from -3, and since the upper bound is blank, it assumes that it will slice until the end of the list. Okay, and what about this example? We have omitted the lower bound, the upper bound, but included the step value. So it basically means that we are including all na elements. But since we included a step value 2, so there will be a stride of 2. You take this one and then omit this one and then you take this one. So there is a stride of 2. 0, 2. So what will be the next element that will be taken? So that will be on the element na 4. Okay? Okay. Now, let's move on to slicing 2D na arrays. So suppose we have this example na array or matrix na M and with a 3 by 3 na shape. Okay? So now we want to access only the first row. So what we can do is actually just M of 0 that will already give you the first row. But what if you write the statement? Which portion of the matrix will it extract? So this 0 will refer to the first na row and all of the columns. Okay, it's 0 to 3, meaning it can extract columns from 0 until 3 minus 1, which is 2. So this will be sliced. And what if we want to access this information only? Or what if we have the statement? So in here, we have 2 na subscripts, okay? And we can include na ranges for each na dimension of a 2D na array. So and they are being separated by comma. So for the first na row, what we want to access is from 1 up to, since the upper bound is not included, meaning we are assumed up till the end of the row. Okay, so meaning from 1 up to the end of the row. And on the other hand, the column is from 1 up to the end of the column. Okay, so they are intersecting in here. So this values 5069 will be extracted or sliced. Now we have, suppose we have this example naman. So on the row, there is no upper bound and lower bound that is included. So that means that it will assume that all of the rows will be sliced. But for the column, it only lists down 2, which means we only slice the column 2. So the interaction of these all rows and just the column 2 is just 7, 0, 9. Okay. Now, what if we included a range for the row and the column? So 1 to 3. So that means that we start from 1 until until 2 only. And similarly for the row, for the column, so starting from 1 also until the end of the column. So it also extracts 5069. Okay. Let's try running. So it's working as expected. Working as expected.